Today we are talking about some new information on Baron Samedi as well as Pele. Now Baron Samedi's information is already out there for quite a while. There have been various updates to it and I've talked about those, so we're gonna keep it a little bit shorter here, but there have been some relatively significant changes to his kit again, which makes me think there may have been some changes within his development process, some changes to his abilities because something didn't work out how it was originally planned. So, as for what stays the same, the features that he has are a snake, some sort of hysteria, and the Baron cross with the remark that it's left and right, so something on the sides of the character probably. The basic attacks, magical, 34 physical power plus 1.5 per level. The passive gives him increased power, it has some sort of self-potion effect and it works with hysteria. Now with hysteria we have a little more information as it plays into the other abilities. There is some new information on Paralyzing Spit. Previously we knew that it was a projectile with 20% scaling, some unknown stun duration and can hit multiple targets, has a left and right beam, so basically a copy of a Cerberus ability, but now it also has a node for a heal. So what could possibly happen is something in interaction with these crosses, where maybe if you hit all 3 shots you get a heal instead of stunning the enemy, some sort of self-heal ability or something along those lines. Or maybe the whole projectile is a heal. But not only that, his second ability, now Hysteria Projectile, also has a heal. It also has something called a Hysteria Heal Projectile. So somehow this is where the hysteria stems from. So I guess this is some effect that you can apply either to an enemy or to an ally and buff them of some sort or mark them, and then there's another interaction with the hysteria. There is a second version of the second ability, just called version 2, which has a ground targeter, a radius of 17.5 and does an unknown amount of damage plus 80% scaling. It has a 13-second cooldown. Then his third ability remains unchanged. It seems to be a copy of an Anubis ability, Mummify, with a snake projectile and unknown stun duration, 60 mana cost, using the Baron Snake, and apparently the snake has some sort of melee as well, so maybe once the snake wraps around the enemy, they will do damage as well, maybe the stun gets removed in return or something like that. But the fourth ability, the ultimate, is what is again seeing major changes as well. This ability is now a vortex, or it's called Vortex. It spawns a vortex, it has a cone radius, which is interesting, which is something like, for example, Anubis 1. The next node says Hysteria Max and Min Speed. So I don't know if it means that it maxes out the Hysteria buff or whatever that may be, but it seems to have some sort of interaction with Hysteria once again. It possibly has tick damage and it possibly has a self-root, and it apparently also grabs. So what I could imagine is this is some damage over time ability that allows you to deal damage and pull enemies or grab enemies towards you that are in this cone radius and then hold them there and deal damage or something like that. There is also a second version of the ability though, which is a dash with a 55 range and a damage of 70% scaling plus an unknown amount of damage. This is interesting because we had this node for the dash in a previous version of the data mining, but then it was gone and now it seems to be back. So overall, what we know now that we didn't know before is that he seems to have some sort of healing ability or abilities. He has this Hysteria, which seems to have effects on different abilities, and his ultimate seems to be something entirely different from what we saw before, except for that it always had a cone radius and it has a grab. The way it seems to work now, to me, makes it less likely that it's something like a position swap or similar, because then why would it have a cone radius and interact with other things and do possibly tick damage? But we also have new information on Pele. It's not a lot, but it is something. So Pele is the next god to arrive, the first god of the Polynesian or Hawaiian pantheon, whichever you want to call it. And Pele is a goddess that is mostly revolving around fire. She's the goddess of the volcano. But the interesting thing here is that her kit will be a physical one according to the data mining. So her basic attack will deal 39 damage plus 2.25 per level plus 100% physical power scaling, and she has a 1-1-1 attack chain with damage and swing time. Now, with our last releases, Achilles and Chernobog, we just had a warrior and a hunter. We also, kind of prior to that, had a hunter with Hachiman, so it's very, very unlikely that we'll see another hunter here. So we're kind of between a warrior and an assassin here. Given that the last assassin release will soon be over a year ago, I think it's very likely that we're gonna see another assassin release, as in between we already had 2 warriors. Then on the other hand, we also have a lot of assassins in the game. It's a bit surprising to me because everything about her design so far screams mage, but I guess we'll have some sort of fire assassin. And that's it for the new information. As always, keep in mind this is data mined stuff, so this is all subject to change and none of this is confirmed. We'll see how it turns out in the end. And with that, thank you guys for watching. I hope this was interesting and insightful. If you're new to the channel, feel free to sub button and the bell, it really helps me out. Other than that, see you for the next one tomorrow. DukeSloth, out.